Hello everyone, I am Hugo Martin, PhD student at University of Rennes 1. Under the supervision of Mathieu Hacher and Jean-Marc Jezequel, I will present you our work on automated performance specialization. The concept of software product line is quite simple. From one system we can make different end products that can suit different needs. This is done by activating or deactivating options to create a configuration. There can be thousands of options in a single system, and one of the main pain points is the interaction between options at the level of dependency, but also on their influence on the different properties and performances of the systems. This makes predicting performances from a configuration a complex problem, especially on big systems. Performance specialization is based on a performance objective, a performance value over which a configuration can be acceptable or not for a user. By adding constraints that invalidate all configurations from a system that do not meet the performance objective, a user can still configure the system while being sure to stay inside a performance objective. There are multiple ways to achieve that. The safest way is to measure the performance of all configurations, but it can be too expensive or even impossible on the biggest systems. Expert knowledge is another way that can be quite unreliable, especially if the system is complex. Last way is by using machine learning, which leads to a kind of middle ground between the two other ways, as we only need a sample of the configuration, but is also prone to error up to a certain point. There exists a wide range of machine learning algorithms. However, for now, the specialization relies on decision trees. When strained, a decision tree can look like that, with leaves in blue that represent the decision, and the path that these leaves created by the nodes in red. Decision trees are good for many reasons. The first is their ability to handle the different SPL problems, such as dealing with interaction between options, and dealing with Boolean and numerical options as well. This makes them used in the state of the art and also relatively good in terms of accuracy. They can do regression as well as classification, which is useful as we will see later. The most important part is their interpretability. From the example, it is possible to extract the rules from in the form of a propositional formula, which can be easily integrated with most solvers. Automated performance specialization follows the usual pattern in machine learning for SPL, which is sampling, measuring, learning, and validating. In this paper, we focused on the learning part in which we investigated different approaches. Specialization being a classification problem, to know if a configuration is acceptable or not given a performance objective, the straightest approach is the classification one. We start with a dataset with configuration and the associated performance measurement. Then label each configuration according to the performance objective. From there, we can train a classification model that will predict if a configuration is acceptable or not. The main problem is that the performance is lost. The model doesn't know the performance, which is a valuable insight that can help building the model. For the model, a very acceptable configuration is considered the same way as a barely acceptable one, which can cause trouble. Another problem we can consider is the fact that a model is only useful for one objective, and a different model must be trained for each performance objective. In order to avoid this problem, we can use the regression approach. Starting with the same dataset, we can directly train a regression model that will predict the performance of a configuration, then apply the thresholding to determine if a configuration is acceptable or not. The problem that rises with that approach is that the model is unaware of the performance objective, which leads to the statement that a good regressor might not be a good classifier for our problem. In this example, we assume that the performance objective is 4. if the true size is 3.97 and the predicted size is 3.99, the mean squared error is really low and there is no classification error. However, if the true size is actually 4.01, the error is still very low, but it is a classification error as the prediction is on the other side of the objective. On the other hand, even if the regression error is high, as long as it is on the same side of the objective, there is no problem from the classification point of view. So we came up with an hybrid approach we call specialized regression in order to create a model aware of both the performance and the performance objective. With the same dataset, we increase the performance value for all configurations above that objective. This will create a gap in the performance distribution that will make the regression model punish a lot more the configuration crossing the objective. At last, the thresholding is done to determine the acceptability just like the normal regression approach. The problem of this approach is that the gapping value is to be determined with regard to the performance distribution, and we go back to the one model per objective problem. The dataset we used are some that have been made available by the community, containing a set of configurations with the associated performance measurement over 9 different systems. The Linux dataset stands out by the number of features considered. This dataset has been troublesome for simple performance prediction, and it has been dealt with tree-based feature selection. In our context, feature selection allows to filter out some features in order to reduce the complexity of the learning task. For tree-based feature selection, we train a random forest on the whole dataset, then extract the feature importance from the trained model to create a list of features sorted by their importance, the feature ranking list. Then we can keep the top n features and train any algorithm on that reduced dataset. This technique proves itself efficient at reducing the needs in time and memory for the learning, and can also increase the accuracy of the resulting model. For the evaluation, our main objective is to compare the three learning approaches. We used a balanced accuracy metric as we deal with dataset with EV class imbalance. We explore different training set sizes to measure how much configuration we need to achieve acceptable accuracy. We also consider the different performance objectives from very constraining with only 10% of acceptable configuration to very permissive with 90%. We measure training time in all cases and investigating the influence of the feature selection on both accuracy and training time. The overall accuracy by approach shows quite good results at more than 90% accuracy on 8 out of 9 systems, SQLite being the exception. Classification is the best approach on 6 systems. Note that if classification is the best, the other approaches are just a little behind and still very relevant. We report a high standard deviation on Berkeley G system, caused by a 70% accuracy when 10% of configuration are acceptable, but shows 100% accuracy at 50% acceptable configuration. It shows that changing the performance objective can easily impact the accuracy of the specialization. If we look at the detailed results on Apache, we can see that classification is the best with the number of acceptable configuration between 10 and 50%, while at 80 and 90% the specialized regression is the best. We also observe mitigated accuracy improvement from the feature selection with classification, while for regression and specialized regression, it shows almost always significant improvement. On Linux, we show that it is regression that is the best approach between 10 and 50% of acceptable configuration, except when the training side is more than 50% of the dataset where classification is the best. Specialized regression is also the best at 80 and 90% of acceptable configuration, just like for Apache. Feature selection gives positive results in almost all cases, but slightly less significantly in terms of gain in accuracy. all systems except Linux present turning time in the order of the millisecond, up to 22 milliseconds. This makes the training step possible in real-time usage. This lowers the relevance of the reduction of the training time from the feature selection, which is up to 45% reduction. For Linux, we report training time between 54 seconds and 93, depending on the approach. With feature selection, we report between 0.5 and 2.3 seconds, which means a 40 to 100-fold reduction, and of the order of the second, it can be considered in a real-time context. Overall, we cannot say that an approach is clearly better than the others. Each one has its own strong points. Feature selection can bring some improvement even with a low number of features. The training time is usually not a problem. It only begins to be a problem when there is 1,000 of options, and the feature selection really helps to reduce it. In our future works, we consider the case of classification versus specialized regression. While from a class balance point of view, 10% and 90% acceptable configuration are the same, but classification is steadily better at 10% and specialized regression steadily better at 90%. We need to investigate why, as it could help refine the hybrid approach. Trying out different sampling strategies to know if one would be better for the specialized problems than random sampling is also one of our goals. For now, our validation is only based on the accuracy of the model from which the rules are extracted, rules that are only meant to be injected into a solver, so we did not analyze the rules themselves. Investigating the quality of the rules would be an interesting path. Specialization by learning brings out some error and a trade-off between safety and flexibility. Safety ensures that all configurations predicted acceptable are actually acceptable, while flexibility ensures that all acceptable configurations are predicted acceptable. With decision tree, it should be possible to tweak the rules in order to maximize one or another, and offering that possibility to a user could be a nice addition. At last, using active learning to refine the most error-prone rules would be an interesting improvement to the method. We also made available all the artifacts of the experiment. All the dataset, the rule results, and the code to make the experiments are on the GitHub repository. We also included a notebook with step-by-step instructions and commented Python code to reproduce the experiment on your own dataset, as well as a Docker image to ensure a working environment. Don't hesitate to try them out or just read the notebooks directly on GitHub. Thank you for your attention. We thank the SPLC organizer for their work on the conference. Do not hesitate to contact us for questions or feedback. They are always welcome.